Hello everyone, this is Dave from Dave's Recent Things. If you've watched my channel for a while now, you know that I absolutely love to work with unconventional materials to make a wreath. Today's video is no exception to that. I am using paper bags, yes, paper bags, from the Dollar Tree to create a little fall wreath. Nice and easy, nice and quick, nice and simple. Why don't I just get started and I'll show you what I made. The wire wreath frame I'm going to be using is a square one today from the Dollar Tree. Here are those paper bags I was just talking about. I show 3, but I did only use 2 for this project. I had some leftover fall leaves. You can kind of see some of the stems are bare. I've used it before. And I have some 2-inch burlap wired ribbon from Temu. And of course, my regular crafting utensils to create this recycled paper bag wreath today. First thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and chop up the paper bag into strips. Mine are about 3 inches. I didn't measure. If you want to measure, you can totally do that. And then for the bottom of the bag, I'm just cutting off those tabs, just like you see here, chopping them up. And then of course, I'm going to go right down the center for the bottom one as well, just making strips out of that paper bag. Once I do that, I'm just going to take my hands and crinkle up the strips a little bit. I'm going to make sure that the printing is on the inside. You can see there the printing, and I just want to make sure that's on the inside and it doesn't show through on the outside. And then making those longer strips a little shorter just for a little bit of ease of use. Now I'm just going to take my paper bag strip, the first one. This is frame side up. It really doesn't matter if you do frame side up or down. And then I'm just going to take some hot glue and start gluing my paper bags and wrapping them around that wire wreath frame. So a couple things to note here. This is paper. It does rip very easily. I found out the hard way. And when you're doing the hot glue, it's hot. So I do use a tool every now and then because that heat from the glue does really come through on that paper. So again, it is a paper wreath. I probably wouldn't, or I would actually say definitely don't hang this outside, especially where there's water or elements or anything. This is more of an inside wreath. Hang it on your mantle, hang it on your wall, and you can kind of see there it did rip on me when I was wrapping it around. So again, you know, we just have to use caution with it, especially with that glue gun, and then just be gentle. And I'm just keep wrapping that around. I don't really have a pattern or anything. I just want it to be crinkled. I want it to be a lot of texture, a lot of interest with this paper bag, wrapping it around our wire wreath frame. And again, just gluing down as I go. And once I'm all done, I'm just going to kind of squish it a little bit, get that square frame in there, and we've got our base paper wreath all done. And to prep, I'm going to use my scissors and cut off all of those leaves from our stems. I will be using those later once I get them all cut off. I put them to the side, and we're going to start making our bow because, well, we have to make a bow. I'm going to measure out 12 inches, gather it together to create our 12-inch tail. Then I'm going to measure out 12 inches. This will be for our loop. We bring it back together. The loop will be at the top. Good side facing up by twisting right in the center, measuring 12 inches again, gathering it, the loop will go at the bottom, and then we'll transfer the ribbon from our right hand to our left hand after every single loop and tail. For our starter one, so this is segment number 1, this is the lowest part or the bottom part of our bow. I am going to do 2 tails and 4 loops. So I have 2 loops at the top, 2 loops at the bottom, and a total of 2 tails. I'm measuring out that 12 inches one more time, cutting on that 12-inch mark, grabbing a full-length pipe cleaner, feeding it right through the center, making sure everything is gathered, twisting it a couple of times, and then I'm going to overlap my ribbon, fold it in half, cut on an angle to create a dovetail finishing touch. We're going to move on to our second ribbon, which is our orange burlap. This time we're going to do the exact same thing, but we're going to measure out 10 inches. So 10-inch tail, 10-inch loops, and I'm only going to do 3 loops at this point. Cut the excess off. Grab a half pipe cleaner, wrap it around the center, make sure it's twisted a couple times, nice and secure, and then dovetail to finish off our ribbon tails. Moving on to segment number 3, this time I'm using green burlap ribbon at 8 inches. So again, the exact same method we've done several times before for segments 1 and 2. This time I'm going to do 8 inches, and I am going to do 4 loops, 2 tails for this one, finishing off by wrapping a half pipe cleaner right around the center, twisting it, folding over, aligning those edges, creating our little dovetail with our scissors. And our last segment, I'm going to do 6 inches with this yellow burlap. This burlap I did get from Temu. Was it good? I enjoyed it up until the yellow. I'm not gonna lie, the yellow was a little with quality wise. You can kind of see it fraying and everything in this section. The other colors worked really, really well. To put it all together, I'm going to start with our first layer, then I'm going to grab that second segment, open up those pipe cleaners, wrap it around the center, and then I'm just going to twist that right at the back side, attaching our second segment, keeping those long pipe cleaners attached. That's how we're going to attach our bow to our wreath frame. I'm going to add our green segment on there, the exact same thing, opening up those pipe cleaner stems, twisting it at the back. I fluff it up a little bit, arrange it how I want it to go, and then I'm going to add our last, which is the yellow segment, segment number 4, the exact same thing. Twist it right around the back, and of course, it is, can you say it with me? Fluffin' time. Once that's all done, our bow is ready to attach to our paper bag wreath base. And to attach it, I'm going to grab those 2 pipe cleaner stems that we kept on there, the long ones, wrap it around the back a couple of times. Now, since this is on a corner, I don't want it to move, so I am going to put hot glue on there. And of course, I put an abundance of hot glue. You don't need that much, but I wanted to make sure it stayed. Now here comes the tricky part, and the part where I'm kind of on the fence with. This is where I started adding the leaves that we cut previously. I'm just using my hot glue gun to add those leaves on there. And you can kind of see when I'm done, I kind of pick it up and take a look at it. And I'm like, you know what? This looks good. I'm happy with this. But I don't know, for some reason, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use a little bit more. I have all these leaves, I'm going to use it. So I started adding more, and then I just fell down this rabbit hole where all of a sudden, pretty much half of the wreath is covered with leaves. Now, leave me a comment down below. What do you think about this? Is it too many leaves? Is it just enough leaves? Should I stop halfway? And then, of course, I did the exact same thing on the other side. In my head, I'm thinking, Dave, stop. You don't need any more. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to use these leaves. And I ended up using them all. Now, it's not a bad look, but I think in the end, I kind of wanted to see more of the paper bag texture because that really did add a lot of interest. And I think if I stopped doing the leaves at the halfway point, we would have seen a lot more of that paper bag. But in the end, I will say I am very happy with how the paper bag wreath turned out. Majority of the materials I had on hand, really the only thing I bought was the burlap ribbon. Everything else I had on hand. So great, inexpensive, easy wreath idea for fall. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I upload a new project. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.